I want to start with an icebreaker question, but it's like 40 degrees up here, so it's probably more like a heat breaker question. Whilst we were answering that, you actually brought some tasty food
I did.
for us today. So what are we going to have? Whilst you will answer my first question, which is, what was the best food? What was the food experience you had in Cannes so far? Now tell us.
Well, it's funny because we talk about rosé a lot, don't we, in this place? But actually, one remembers that there's actually a lot of very nice fresh fish here, so I've been enjoying that part. But today I've brought you guys some of our original and some of our jalapeno hummuses, which are our biggest sellers in the UK. And so it's great for people to be tasting it, especially because most people are not from the UK.
And you sneaked it via some customs operation
It was a little
into
bit
the
of
EU.
I had to channel my South African past and smuggle it in, but it was worth it, I reckon. I think it'll be worth it.
Jamie, what was your food experience this week?
Oh, I was going to be very transparent and say I feel like I've had the cultural experience of rosé.
Yes.
And just hit it straight on the nose. And also some wonderful fresh food as well.
Liquid food. Bridget, what was the food experience this
I
week?
haven't had a rosé yet, actually.
You didn't?
No, I've had my spritzes.
I
all
think we have
week.
some bottles
I
here
have my
if you want.
spritzes all week. But I love my morning just starting off with a little bit of a yogurt and fruit, and that's kept me as we power the beaches all day. And next year, maybe we'll figure out a way to get mochi ice cream along this beach, because I think that would be really appreciated.
That would be great. Alexandra, your food experience this week.
I'm with her. So yogurt and fruit all the way. Aside of that, we had a beautiful dinner with the full global Danone team, Feet in the Sand, on Tuesday. That was absolutely marvelous.
Healthy choice, I would say, right? There are other choices you can have this week here in Cannes.
The ice cream was good as well.
Ice cream, yes. Let's get into the first question. I mean, I said it before. We saw it also a little bit in the panel before. The food category is a very, very big one in Europe, the third biggest advertising spending category. It's a crowded space. How do you stand out when you try to get a bit of a share of stomach in that category? Maybe we'll start with Brigette, challenger brand from the US. How do you do it? What is it?
Sure. Well, I think part of it is food is one of the really uniquely human experiences we have more than anything, right? We're putting something in our bodies, and it's the most primal thing that we can do, but it's also one of the most social things that we do. We break bread, we have dinners, we have lunches. And so for us, marketing food is very much about being both emotional, but also functional, because I have to know what I'm eating. And that is so important to understand that, I need to inspire someone to try it at an emotional level, but then I have to really deliver. So I have to show the texture and the food and the colors and give them a little bit of reality of what it is they can experience and expect.
So Ramona, you're also new on the block with your company, right? How do you get your share of stomach?
Well, for me, it's not share of stomach. It's similar to Brigette. It's about getting a share of love and heart. They're opening up their fridges. They're eating your product. They need to really get a hug from it, because that, as you say, gets people to just keep coming back for more. And so you get a share of feeling, and then you get that loyalty. I think it's all down to product quality, in my opinion.
Danone is not really the new kid on the block, right? But how do you make it happen for those big brands?
Well, let's start with some myth-busting. Daniel, you might be surprised that in some countries, some brands are totally new kids on the block. I'll give you an example. Danone, mother brand as we call it, was just launched last week in the Netherlands. People there don't know it, so we don't have any brand awareness. So we can be as much challenger as we are the leader somewhere else with the same brand. It's a matter of category, it's a matter of geography. How do we deal with that? Well, nothing too new, that's what's been said already. Some brands have a functional approach, some have more emotional approach. So it depends on which category we are playing in. If it's probiotic, if it's gut health, well, you can imagine then we are in Activia space. If it's something more on the emotional side, talking about families, values, well-being, holistic health, then it can go more into, for example, brands like Hypro that will help build your muscle, build your body, but in an emotional way, because you want people to aspire to something more. You want to make them crave a better version of themselves. So we play both cards. Depends on the brands.
emotional muscle building. I think we need that next year also, right? Jamie, cheese and emotion, is it
Yes.
also a good connection?
Yes, and what I would build, because I agree with what was said on the panel, especially now, what's also critical is creating that value, right? So when a consumer, I call it the cheese wall. In the US, when a consumer is going up to the wall, there's a lot of choices. There's a lot of choices for them and their family. When we did some consumer work and we talked to our consumers about Baby Bell, for example, they open up the wax. You see them have an emotional reaction. It gives them this moment of goodness, we like to refer to, because that's what we're all about. And so it's how do you say, well, that experience is going to be better than something else. It's also good for you. And so that helps us break through that we're different. And that purchase is worth it for me.
I think we have a very nice mix on the panel today because it's not just different categories of food, but also different companies in different life stages. We have the new kids on the block, the challengers, we have incumbents on the block. My question here would be, do you need a different kind of storytelling? Do you need a different kind of approach depending on where you are in your life cycle? Maybe we can start with the incumbent, with a big one from Danone, right?
Yes, I have brought a beautiful example with me today.
Yes.
I personally love it. So those of you who are Paris-based or have maybe visited the beautiful city a few months ago, this is a shot taken at the exposition of David Hockney for his 25 years of creativity. And this is like here in, now in big, thanks for that.
For those who need glasses,
Yeah, you see on his one of the most iconic pictures, you have a bottle of Evian. It's not paid for. This is pure art, and this is an integration of a brand in art. This is as iconic as it gets for us. Therefore, how to get to that level where world-known artists paint you on their picture? This is years and years and years of creativity. And I'll give you another example, also with Evian. We have collaborated with very known fashion legends. You think about Balmain, you think about Jean-Paul Gaultier. All this has blended the walls between food and art and creativity and fashion. So just the water brand can do more. We can't be like that. But you have to build it year and year and year of strategic creative choices.
Brigette, I guess MyMochi is not on a picture, on a painting from David Hockney yet.
Not yet.
But not yet, I said not yet. But what's the storytelling? In a big market like the US for a challenger brand, how do you get in there?
Well, it's amazing because I think what Evian's done is it's become a cultural icon, and that is what every brand aspires to become. And I think for MyMochi, our storytelling doesn't change. It's an emotional connection to someone. We have a very different style of a product, and we'll talk about that later and how we advertise that to explain it. But being culturally relevant is key, and that has been on so many of the topics this week. But understanding the nuance of when and how to leverage certain pieces of culture at the time of our development of our brand. And right now, for us, we're seeing a surge in the portion control and permissible indulgence and treating yourself and self-care, and the most importantly for MyMochi is joy. So how do we really amplify that in every touch point that we can do?
In the UK, as a challenger brand, what's the storytelling you try to use to get people excited about your product besides
Feeding
trying
them.
it? Yeah, feeding them.
That helps, but I think for me it's being founder-led. So we've got a unique situation where you can really tap into my heritage, my background. My Egyptian father, grandparents are Turkish. I've got permission to be making hummus that you should be eating and enjoying. But then at the same time, we're tapping into the fact that they're buying it from a person. They're not buying it from a faceless organization. They're buying it from Ramona. It's my products made in my kitchen. And then, of course, made in a factory after that. But it works because they really can connect to a person rather than just a feeling or a brand.
Cheese storytelling US. What's your take on that, Jamie?
Yeah, we actually have a very interesting story. So for those who are more local, the brand Boursin is quite well known in France.
We also have a
of
video
course.
if you want to show it first
Yes.
or last.
We'll show it
Now?
as part of this, yes. So we can pull it up. In the U.S., Boursin is actually not as well known. Our penetration is quite small. people are discovering it. So that's actually, if we want to pull it up. Ooh, yeah.
Borsa cheese.
Borson cheese, aka God's gift to this earth.
It's fire.
Borson cheese is absolutely delicious.
If you love Borsat as much as I do,
If you love Borson cheese.
No, it is the best cheese.
That is really good.
That is a lot of yumminess.
this is so good. Oh my goodness.
I could eat this whole thing.
I love this.
So in the US, what you can see from that is consumers, the number one challenge we had was they didn't understand what Borsan was. Once they try it, it's amazing. I'm guessing some folks agree here. And so we leveraged, there was a couple years ago, there was a recipe, the Tic Tac pasta, that went viral. And we jumped on it really fast because it helped answer the question of what do I do with this? And also gave US consumers a way to use it in a very easy way. So 3 ingredients, throw in a dish, make something amazing. So because you had the Borsan in there, that dish just leveled up. So it's a different approach. And we really leaned into that to help introduce, and we kind of let the influencers introduce the brand for us, which is a very authentic way to do it.
And a new way to create that storytelling for a big brand or a brand that you want to make big. If we look at the food category, as I said, heavyweight in terms of advertising spends. Within those spends, no matter what, TV seems to be like a core pillar of if you want to get to that level of growth for a food brand. Ramona, you're starting with your brand, or you're new on the market, but you're using TV, right? And we also have a copy.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about this. We sponsor a cooking show, and I mean, I don't think media is a level playing field. I think smaller brands will spend a big proportion of their money to be on TV, but we get the benefit of having a higher percentage of return because our growth comes from, well,
Let's have a look first, and then maybe.
Some things are better shared. Ramona's Heavenly Hummus sponsors James Martin's Saturday morning.
So we're not short of colour, I think it's safe to say. And we're not shy, as you've worked out from me. But the idea is we're trying to tell people we're doing things very, very differently. It's a big pot of hummus instead of a regular small pot. We're giving them permission to share it. We're giving them permission to make fantastic memories and eat abundantly. And that's what we're showing them, how to use it. And then, of course, I was the only one who wasn't an actor in the advert, which made the director a little bit uncomfortable. But he managed, and we got it done.
And it seems I need to give my family a lot of your hummus because at the table it looked very calm and very nice and everybody's positive. And
I don't have that household either, it's funnily enough, but it did look idyllic, didn't it?
Alexandra, TV and Danone, it's been a couple for decades, right? So what's your take on that?
It's been hard to keep being on TV, I must admit. And why am I say it's hard? Because internally there is a notion of, everything digital is growing so fast, we need to be there urgently, we need to shift all the money to digital. But it's just not the way smart marketing and media works, because you need to find your balance. And fun fact, you were referring to it already, but among all the FMCG players, still, we are the highest spenders on TV. We are 55% of all our media spent goes on TV. Why? Because it works. Because not only we reach broader audiences, so we generate mass awareness quicker, but there is another magic ingredient into it. The ROI of TV is crazy for FMCG brands. It's on the long term 3 times higher than the next guy in line. So you compare to social, you compare to radio, print, out of home, and so on. On the long term, TV is what makes the trick 3 times more. And that's why we keep
Which
being
is great
there.
if you can afford it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's great that we are recording this, right? So we're very happy to have you. Thank you very much.
It wasn't paid. It's not an ad.
So Brigette, in the US, TV is a different situation than in Europe. We saw it all week through. It's a different kind of game as a challenger brand. How do you cope with, let's say, video and TV?
So to your point, Ramona, budgets, you can't spend what you don't have. But you can be creative, and I think in the storytelling, each channel has a different way that we can tell our story and aspects of that. So on our social, and whether it's organic or paid, there's one lens that we can go really deep and heavy in food and appetite appeal. We actually started doing television to give more of an emotive story and a little bit of humor and personality to test and learn there that we saw did very well. And then you have other places of how do you interrupt the television, whether it's in CTV or other places. And again, each time we do this, you be choiceful of which layer element of your story you want to present in that media pillar.
Jamie, TV and cheese. Is it a love affair?
Yes, we have a history, especially with Baby Bell. We've been on TV for quite a long time. We've also done it. We have big partnerships. We have a partnership with Disney. So bringing to life something like a Disney, where that is the medium that consumers are used to seeing the Disney brand, with us makes a lot of sense, right? So to the conversation, it is tough to stay on TV in the U.S. because of the cost. And so it allows us, though, to really get more out of that partnership. We've changed our strategy a little bit, though. Now the way that we look at TV is we use it as a builder. So if we have big bursts, we're already using online video, then we tack the TV on top of it to really push that reach. And it's helped us, and to be fair, we do see the results. We should continue to be there. We've just evolved how we do it to make sure it helps us in its best way.
Adapted to also the, let's say, changing media consumption habits
Exactly.
that are going on. By the way, I'm very sorry. I promised you some wind on this stage, but today
I was
there's
just going
no
to
wind.
say, I think
There's
we should
none.
lodge a complaint with RTL for the.
I'm sweating.
We're
But
melting.
but I think that as it is such a crowded category, and as you're all trying, whether you're a challenger, up-and-comer, or an incumbent, trying to distinct yourself, creativity plays a big role, I guess. We're here in Cannes, Festival of Creativity, originally down there somewhere, between all the tech companies and us. What does creativity mean for an incumbent brand like Danone to set itself, or not Danone as a brand, but for your products and brands to set themselves apart from also maybe challengers that are coming to get your share of stomach?
You know, Daniel, I think the moment you stop reinventing yourself as a brand, but maybe also as people, we start dying. Therefore, for us, it's this continuous pursuit of what's next, what's going to trigger those minds and hearts and mouths of people to consume our products. Therefore, we keep coming up with something new, something exciting. We cannot always bet on what worked in the past because people have changed, their media consumption patterns have changed, their habits have changed. So if we go a little bit towards the digital spend or the investments that we have, we keep using new channels like gaming, like we partnered with Fortnite globally, and it has been a big success. We do things on social media, like my colleagues here, we partner with influencers. We do also all the Meta, all the TikToks, so all the neighbors here that you have on the Croisette. We do all these things, but the key thing is to do it their way, meaning you need to adapt to the code of the platform. If we do TikToks, we need to do it their way. If we go on Amazon or play in the retail media space, we need to adapt our own codes. It cannot be a one-size-fits-all. So it's not just one reinvention, it's a continuous reinvention depending on the channel and the users that are on this channel. So it's a non-stop evolution.
So creativity adapted to the medium that you're using.
Absolutely.
I might call you up later on because my son is heavily on Fortnite. He wants to become a professional, so maybe we can do a sponsorship there. I want to stay with the incumbent brands here. Creativity for a big brand or set of brands from Bell in the US, you have to find a way to set yourselves apart. And I think we have a little bit of a creative challenge for the crowd today as well, right?
So to spark the creativity, I believe we have some baby bells coming out, maybe. Well, as they come out, yes, we're an incumbent. We've been around for some time. But in the U.S., the challenge we have is making sure we stay fresh and making sure we bring our brand purpose to life. So when you're opening, there they are. There they are.
Yes, yes, yes.
So as you're sitting eating them and you open up the wax, and there's the moment that I talked about earlier of the moment of joy and fun. We are a light-hearted brand. We should be fun. We are a little round cheese that like bounces around. And so we have a new campaign, which I think we have an example of, that's called Fun Kind of Good. And it's about bringing us into the occasions that help remind our consumers about these are great options for a snack full of goodness, and also bring the energy and as I'm seeing people unpeel and play with the wax, and like you have that moment, and we wanted to bring that energy to the creative.
Let's have a look.
Make your me time even sweeter with the joyfully chill sensation of MyMochi ice cream.
They're completely different to what I expected.
You're advertising mochi now. So it says we have the ad from Bell, but if I click,
You want me to switch and tee that up?
Mochi, yeah.
If we can zip that back about 10 seconds. So, it's interesting. I was just thinking, we didn't send our big TV ad that we probably could have shared with everyone as well. But where we, had some value production with our TV partnerships, we had this next creative. And this is a little bit about what is MyMochi and how it makes you feel and what the role it can play in your life at one of the simplest levels. So it's a complicated product that if people haven't had mochi ice cream, and particularly what MyMochi is about and why our brand fits your life and gives you those little moments of joy, this was not a crazy high production. This is actually one of those more like, I just need people to know who we are, and then a little bit about the value that we bring to them.
So then let's have a look at MyMochi, and we'll see to get that Bell copy.
Make your me time even sweeter with the joyfully chill sensation of MyMochi ice cream. MyMochi is cool, creamy, premium ice cream wrapped in a sweet, soft dough. It comes in fabulous flavors like strawberry, mango, cookies and cream, and now birthday cake. MyMochi ice cream is an indulgent treat, but it's only 70 to 90 calories, and it's gluten-free. Look for the purple box of MyMochi ice cream at your local grocery store and make your me moment a MyMochi moment.
I think the Cannes Beach would be the great MyMochi moment, right? So to have that now here. But I wanted to do a little bit that, let's say, set up with the incumbent brands using creativity to stay in their space. And then we have the challenger brands using creativity to eat a little bit away from that incumbent brands. So we'll get back to the Bell copy, I'm sure. I don't know where it is. I only can go back and forth. But maybe we'll go to Ramona also as a challenger brand. Creativity, how does that play a role to get to that incumbent status?
I mean, I think we rely on the product quality and the amount of products that we come out with. We rely on the brand loyalty, and then make sure that we're always giving them great new products. As you said, always innovating, always changing it, because otherwise you just get too comfortable and people go, do I feel like hummus or not? But I think for us, it's also, leveraging social media, leveraging other ways of being creative, but keeping always the same aesthetic. There's always the pink. I'm always the founder. There's always, God help me, my face everywhere. But it just reminds everyone there is a person here, and you trusted her hummus, so trust the tzatziki. You trusted this dip, so trust the new ones. And that sort of just builds on itself.
I would trust you. If you would sell your product in Germany, I would definitely trust you.
Watch this space.
Yes. If we have some retailers here, she's maybe looking for distribution.
Pay attention.
But let's get back to Bell. I don't have the copy for Burson anymore, but I mean, the brand itself was a challenger brand in the US, right? When you started, right?
Well, Baby Bell has been around for quite some time, and the background to that brand is how we continue, as I mentioned, to the cheese wall, right? How do you continue to bring out differentiation? And actually the challenge there is we want our consumers to think of us beyond a cheese. Borsan is a very interesting story because on that brand, we have actually grown so much thanks to the examples and thanks to a lot of TikTok creators who I very much appreciate, to the point now where we're seeing more competition on the market. And so, which I consider quite flattering. If people are coming after you, it means you're doing something right. But now actually we're looking at how do we have to continue to up our game, because we need to continue to push the business and make sure that as we see those kind of ankle biters coming through, that we hold our own.
Thank you so much. I need to wrap it up. I got the 5 minutes sign, 3 minutes sign, but I think food, you know, if I look at what we have discussed a little bit in this round, is like, as you said, it's so primal, it's so essential to everybody, right? It's something that we all do, we all share with each other. What would be your maybe off the chart recommendation for the crowd to look out for in terms of food in the next? What are the trends? You know, like, is there something coming up that we all should watch for? Maybe we'll start with Alexandra.
So if I think about the yogurt category, because we operate in 4 different ones, but sticking to this one, I think what's already up and coming even more is all things probiotics, gut health related, definitely. We've launched Activia Kefir. We are into the skiers now as well. So that watch that space, as Ramona said, that's going to keep growing. And with the waters category, I would say everything flavored but low sugar is also on the rise. So those 2 are good ones to pay attention
and,
to.
low sugar water.
Yes.
What do you see coming up? What are you watching?
What we're seeing is texture still. People love experiential, particularly also in their mouth, not just outside. So that's one piece of elevating the textural experience. And then the other is, you know, food has always been a way to also experience the world, and we are seeing that accelerated, you know, to the TikTok. So it's both of, can you create a trend that gets accelerated, or can you see what's happening globally to bring that home?
Do you have anything what we should watch out and try and taste?
Yeah, taste is a good one. What we're seeing, to back what's been said, consumers are looking for more and more out of their food, but they don't want to sacrifice what they have to pay for it, and they also don't want to sacrifice the taste. And I think no matter what, we see that taste is king. Flavors come through, experience comes through, and I always like to joke, you want to make them want to eat the screen. Right, the appeal of, I want that looks so good, I want to have that right now. So the challenge for all of us is, how do you deliver all of that, which isn't easiest, but we have great R&D folks, and still deliver that like goodness that consumers are looking for.
On the London streets, what's the new trend in terms of food? What do we need to watch out besides hummus?
For me, I think the buzzword is heat, strength. I know we feel the heat at the moment, but heat as in spiciness. I think there is a big trend towards it. I don't think it's going anywhere. We've launched a product with some sriracha hummus and piri piri hummus, and it's selling like hotcakes because, as you said about the flavor, we are actually making it spicy. Whereas I think a lot of the time that they say something spicy, you can give it to a 1-year-old. It's not spicy, but like actual spicy, delivering on flavor, punching with flavor, I think that's the way to go.
Thanks so much. I think this was by far the most tasteful panel in Cannes, right? And give a big round of applause for our panelists. Thank you.